Well, welcome back. We're going to take a look right now at what is in your bag. So let's get going with that. My mother always used to tell me, terrible thing to ask a lady what's in her purse. But I'm going to show you what's in my purse, in my camera bag. There's me again, sitting on the floor in front of my old Crumpler bag. And literally everything that I'm going to show you, just about everything, is been in my bag or still is in my bag right now. So let's get going. So let's look at the essentials. These are things that may or may not have anything to do with photography per se, but they can have a lot to do with your success as a photographer. First thing I'm showing you is my business card at the university, and also some cards that I've had printed up with my name on them. And I use those bigger cards as a way to write a quick note to somebody. Maybe I've got to push a note under somebody's hotel room and say, I'm going to meet you later, or I need to leave a note at the desk for somebody in their office, all sorts of reasons that you might want to have a note. And you don't want to just write it on scrap paper. You want to look professional. Business cards, obviously, this legitimizes who you are. Who's this weird guy taking pictures? Oh, it's me. Here's my card. Check out my website. Maybe you have some work for me to do. Sure, I'll be happy. And that's called networking. I always carry a finger puppet with me. They're fun things. You can entertain yourself if you're bored. You can entertain the person sitting across from you if you're on a long train trip. And especially if you're photographing kids or you're photographing older people, you want to surprise them, get a new expression, pull out a finger puppet. It works every time. That's one of my essentials. I always carry a flashlight with me, not only for seeing around in the dark, but I often use a flashlight as an auxiliary lighting tool. Always carry a Sharpie marker with me. That's a brand name, but hey, that's what it is. And always carry a pocket knife, so I can write permanently on things. I can cut papers and strings if I need to, entertain people, shine a light on it all. Go down to the hardware store, buy yourself some clamps, put them in your bag. You'll instantly find 1,000 uses for them. What do you take with you when you go away on a trip? A sewing kit, a first aid kit with Band-Aids and creams and such, a whistle to blow to get somebody's attention, a little mini flashlight, and rubber bands. And they're always in my camera bag. Rubber bands and a plastic bag. What could we do with that? Well, if you're in a pinch and you don't have the raincoat for your camera, you can just cut a little hole in the end of the bag, slip the rest of the plastic bag around your camera, wrap it up with some rubber bands. Instantly, you are ready to shoot. The other thing you can do is, if you're buying a snack someplace and you got a little bit left over, put it in the plastic bag. You'll find 1,000 uses for them. Keep them in your camera bag. Just trust me on that one. If you travel a lot, like I do, you'll want to have a plug adapter so that when you go to the UK or you come to the United States or you go to any country on earth, you can plug that baby in and plug all of your whatever country you're from plugs into it as well. The other thing in this picture, obviously the piece on the top, the big one, is the plug adapter. The bottom piece is, the brand name is Monster. It's a Monster cord, and it's a very short extension cord. I love it. It's got 4 outlets and 2 on each side. In addition, it's got an outlet on the side for a USB port, so I can charge my phone, I can charge my computer, I can charge my tablet. Everything's charging, batteries, etc. Another essential, and this is getting closer to photography, is that camera instruction manual. Believe it or not, come take a look at my bag. You'll find my camera instruction manuals in there as well. I take them with me. I don't want to trust being able to find them online when I need a quick answer, and honestly, I haven't memorized everything for every camera that I own. Let's get into some photo stuff. We've looked at some interesting bags. They've got really cool compartments, and they've got zippered pockets and all sorts of places to store things. But I always like to take along with me a pouch, and a pouch made specifically for photo gear. This one happens to be by Tenba. It's called the Cable Duo 4-pouch, and I love it. It'll hold my cables for my computer, it'll hold batteries, it's got Velcro and elastic loops so that things don't jostle around. It keeps everything in one place, zipped up, so that all of that stuff is not rattling around inside my camera bag. Did somebody say batteries? Yes, extra batteries and extra chargers. I've known photographers who've gone overseas, some with me actually, who would take 6 or 8 batteries with them but only one charger. So when the maid or somebody else steps on the charger, or maybe they stepped on it, they can no longer charge all those batteries. So an extra charger is a must. A container such as this Tenba Reload battery pack to hold your batteries keeps them in one place. More photo stuff is a card reader, a USB stick, a remote control for your camera, and of course extra AA batteries for your flash or for other devices that you might use. You say, well, why do I need that USB stick? I've got my computer with me, it's going to hold everything that I need. Well, I would have not only that USB stick, but also, of course, an extra hard drive with me. But the USB stick is convenient if you'd like to transfer pictures from your computer to somebody else's without turning over your hard drive to them. I always carry a tripod with me, and if I'm traveling light, I want a light tripod, but one that's going to do a good job and hold my camera sturdy. And MePhoto is a brand that I like very much. They have a backpacker tripod that extends about 52 inches and collapses to about 12 inches. You can see it held in my hands right there. It's got 5 extensions to that tube, and it gets right out there. It holds about 20 pounds, so it can hold my DSLR quite easily. Just as we need an extra battery charger to go with our batteries, you'll always want to have an extra plate for your tripod. And if you're familiar with tripods today, generally there's a plate that attaches to the bottom of your camera, and then that plate is what attaches to the tripod. Well, hello, if you lose that plate, the tripod isn't very good anymore. So always get an extra one when you purchase a tripod. Along with my regular tripod, I'll take a mini tripod, and there are endless numbers that are out there available for you. This happens to be my Ultra Pro, which I love. It's a little mini thing made out of plastic. I don't think it weighs 6 ounces. Wraps up with Velcro, and that Velcro strap can also be used to attach it to a stick or a fence post or something else. You can see from the Swiss Army knife in front of it how small it really is. Well, what are some of the things you can put on this little tripod or a big tripod? Well, if you've got a MePhoto Sidekick 360 smartphone adapter, there you go. You can put your smartphone on a tripod. It becomes just like a real camera. This is a device that I have really fallen in love with. I always keep a couple of them in my camera bag. It's called a Lume Cube. And I am big into lighting. I love to add a little bit of extra zip and zap and color to my scenes. But I don't like to drag big, heavy lighting equipment around with me. Well, Lume Cube is a fairly new device here in 2016. It's 1.5 inches square, but it gives off 1,500 lumens of light. And it can function both as a strobe and as a continuous light source. And when it's on continuous, you've got 10 different stops of light that you can adjust it with. It also works with your smartphone. So you now have a light source that if you're a smartphone photographer, like I know some of you are, you can take along an accessory light source that'll be infinitely controllable by you. Here's another really cool little item that I always have in my camera bag, no matter what, because it's like so light. What is this, about like 6 ounces or something like that? It's just a little teeny weeny thing, it looks like. It's called a Photix reflector. And just like with my little finger puppet, you can entertain people with it. You take it out of the bag and whoa, there we go. Now I'm reflecting light with the silver reflector and also with the white side. And you can see, I'll bet I'm bouncing light right up into my face with this. Correct, Mr. Producer? Yes? There we go. Okay, cool. Folds right up. Easy to put right back in the bag. It's a lot of fun to use and an essential if you need to pop just a little bit more light into somebody's face or into an object that you're photographing. Another item that's always in my camera bag, rain or shine, is my Tenba RC9 camera raincoat. That's what I call it. And it really is a raincoat for a camera. You can get it in different lengths for different focal lengths of lens. So easy to apply. You just use a couple of Velcro strips on the lens shade. You're good to go. The Velcro on the rest of the bag holds it together, and there's a huge open plastic area on the back that won't let any rain in, but lets you see all the controls of your camera. There are some things, sadly for me, because I'm old school, that you can do with Photoshop that you used to just be able to do if you're a magic photographer. But there's one thing that's really impossible with Photoshop, and that is blocking polarized light. Yay, there's at least one more thing we can do. So I always have a polarizing filter in my bag with me. I use Heliopan. There are other brands as well, but this is a really good, solid brand. Clear as glass, wonderful polarizing effect. And polarized light is the light that reflects off of things that is polarized, and we usually call it glare. Another device I've always got with me is my color checker. It's made by X-Rite, which I'm proud to say is a Michigan company. It's a fantastic little device, folds up into a little container like this. You can set it up so that it could sit on a table if you wanted to, and you can check color. You can also check white balance, and it comes with some software that when you plug it into your computer, you're using Photoshop or Lightroom or some other devices or software programs, you can nail the color, which, as we all know in digital photography, can sometimes be kind of difficult. So last but not least, another device that I really like to recommend, and actually I do recommend in every single class that I have at Michigan State, I tell my students to run out and get a lens pen. And a lens pen is a device like no other that I know of, in that it is going to clean your lenses. Actually, they have a device for cleaning the LCD screen as well. There's another device for cleaning the viewing area of the DSLR or other camera that you might be using. They've got one for everything. And what it is very simply, there's a brush on one end, and the brush comes out, and you just use that brush to get rid of a little bit of stuff like this, and then pop the brush back in, unscrew the other end, where there's, what the heck is that? Well, that's a little flat pad that I can use to, and you'll say to yourself, oh my gosh, should I really be doing this? Should I be pressing on this lens? Don't worry about it. This thing is going to degrease your lens. It's going to take all that film off. And then when you put it back into the case, you twist it in, it twists and gets all of that gunk off.